Hey everyone, welcome back. You know how it is sometimes you feel like you're learning in slow motion?
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to download a huge file,
Uh-huh.
but you're stuck with like dial-up internet speeds.
I've been there.
So today we're going to dive into some seriously cool techniques that can totally transform the way you learn stuff backed by science and even a little bit of philosophy.
I love it.
It's like finding a cheat code for your brain, boosting your learning speed and making it way more effective.
It's amazing what we can do to train our brains to learn more efficiently.
Right. And the best part is these aren't just some random tricks or hacks.
Nope.
This is stuff that's grounded in real research.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're diving into this awesome excerpt on learning and skill mastery. And the first technique that really jumped out at me is deliberate practice.
Yeah, it's about so much more than just putting in the hours.
Right.
Like we've all heard that saying, practice makes perfect,
Right.
but deliberate practice takes it to a whole new level.
It's about being really focused with your practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so instead of mindlessly repeating the same thing over and over again, it's about breaking things down into smaller chunks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You pinpoint your weaknesses, those specific areas that are holding you back, and then you create a practice plan that targets those weak points.
So it's like a laser-focused approach.
Yes, and research has actually shown that this type of targeted practice helps rewire your brain's neural pathways more efficiently.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, like a brain hack for skill acquisition.
Yeah.
So like instead of just playing the piano, you would find a tricky chord progression and focus your practice on that.
Exactly. And another crucial element is feedback.
Oh yeah, good point.
Like Olympic athletes, they don't train in isolation. They have coaches giving them super specific feedback,
Yeah,
helping them refine their technique constantly.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about how to practice effectively, but how do we make sure that what we practice actually sticks with us? I mean, our brains were notorious for forgetting things, right?
They are, and that's where spaced repetition comes in.
Ah, yes, spaced repetition. It sounds so futuristic.
Right. But it's all based on the way our brains naturally forget. There's this concept called the forgetting curve, basically. Our brains are designed to shed information that we don't use regularly.
So how do we combat that forgetting curve?
Spaced repetition is the key. Instead of cramming everything in at once and then forgetting it, you space out your review sessions, and the timing is crucial. You review the material right before you're about to forget it.
It's like you're outsmarting your brain's forgetfulness.
Exactly.
I've always thought about it like flashcards. Let's say you're trying to learn a new language. You wouldn't review all the flashcards every single day. You'd space it out. Maybe review them after a day, then 3 days, then a week.
That's the idea. It might seem counterintuitive, but the effort you put in to retrieve the information
Yeah.
actually makes the memory stronger.
It's like giving those memories a booster shot
Yeah,
right when they need it.
I like that analogy.
Okay, this next one is a classic, and I have to admit I'm a little obsessed with it, the 80-20 rule. Also known as the Pareto principle. It makes me feel like I can find those shortcuts to success.
Absolutely. The 80-20 rule is all about finding those high-impact actions, the ones that give you the biggest results.
So it's not always an exact 80-20 split.
No, but the principle of prioritization is incredibly valuable.
So you're not getting lost in the details. You're focusing on that 20% of effort that will give you 80% of the results.
Exactly. It's like finding the cheat code for learning.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine you're learning a new language. Instead of trying to memorize every single word in the dictionary,
Which would be impossible.
you could focus on mastering the most frequently used words first.
You'd be surprised how far that can take you.
Right, it's all about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
Oh. Next up is a technique that I have to admit I was a bit skeptical about at first.
Oh, which one?
Active recall.
Ah, interesting.
That sounds a little counterintuitive, right?
It does.
And active recall is all about making your brain work harder.
It's like giving your memory muscles a workout.
Instead of passively rereading or highlighting,
Mhm.
you actively try to retrieve information from your brain.
Exactly. So instead of just skimming through a chapter, you'd close the book and try to summarize the key points from memory.
It's like forcing your brain to work.
And that's a good thing. The harder your brain works to retrieve information, the stronger the memory becomes.
So quizzes aren't the enemy after all.
Not at all.
They're actually helping us learn. Mind blown.
There's even a name for it in research. They call it the testing effect.
Okay, this next one is named after one of the coolest physicists ever, Richard Feynman,
Oh, yeah.
and it's called the Feynman Technique.
Love it.
Richard Feynman was a genius at explaining complex things in a way that anyone could understand.
He really was.
And this technique builds on that idea. It's all about simplifying things through teaching.
So you're pretending to be a teacher breaking down a complex topic for someone who's never heard of it before.
Exactly. And here's the really clever part. If you can't explain it simply, it means you don't fully understand it yourself.
Right. It exposes the gaps in your knowledge.
That's so smart. It's like a built-in self-assessment tool.
It is. And it forces you to organize your thoughts and really pinpoint the most important points.
I love it. Okay, are you ready for another brain-boosting technique?
Always.
This one is all about mixing things up, interleave practice.
Ooh, I like this one.
It's like cross-training for your brain, right?
Exactly. Instead of practicing one skill in isolation, you alternate between different but related skills.
So instead of doing a whole block of geometry problems, then algebra, then calculus, you would mix them all up.
Precisely. And this helps you see the connections between those different skills. You're building a more adaptable and flexible kind of knowledge.
That makes sense because in real life, problems don't always come neatly packaged by subject.
Oh, true.
In fact, this next one might seem a little out of left field.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
But hear me out. Mindfulness and meditation. I know it sounds like something you do at a yoga studio,
Yeah,
not while you're trying to learn something new.
I can see why you'd say that.
But the benefits go way beyond relaxation. It can actually help you focus better, which is obviously crucial for learning.
So you're not just chilling out, you're actually changing how your brain works.
Exactly. Studies have shown that practicing mindfulness regularly can actually increase gray matter density in areas of the brain related to memory and learning.
It's like a brain upgrade.
Okay, now I'm really interested. So how do we start incorporating mindfulness into our lives?
It can be surprisingly simple. Even just starting with 5 or 10 minutes of guided meditation each day can make a huge difference. There are tons of great apps out there, or even just focusing on your breath for a few minutes can calm your mind and bring your attention to the present moment.
I'm already feeling more relaxed just thinking about it.
See?
Okay, on to another fascinating technique. This one taps into our brain's natural love of pictures, visualizations, and mental models.
I love this one. Our brains are wired for visual thinking. We process and remember images much more easily than abstract text.
So using visualizations, mental models, is like speaking your brain's native language.
It is.
So instead of forcing myself to memorize dry facts, I could create mental pictures or diagrams to represent that information.
Exactly. Imagine you're trying to understand a complex scientific concept. Creating a simplified mental model, even if it's a silly one, can make it stick. Like visualizing an atom as a tiny solar system.
Okay, I'm starting to see how powerful this could be. It's not just about memorizing. It's about understanding and connecting with the information on a deeper level.
Exactly. You're making the abstract more concrete.
I love that. Okay, this next one is all about taking what we've learned out into the real world.
Ah, yes. Getting practical.
Contextual learning. It's about recognizing that knowledge isn't just something you acquire in a classroom or from a book.
Yep.
It's something you use and apply in different situations.
Exactly. Think about learning a language. You wouldn't just practice in a classroom. You'd try to use it in real conversations with different people in different settings.
It makes so much sense. Why bother learning something if you can't actually use it?
Exactly.
Okay. Are you ready for a technique that's all about working smarter, not harder?
Hit me with it. This one is a game changer. It's called the Pomodoro Technique.
Okay, I've heard of this one. Tell me more.
It's all about those focused bursts of work.
Yeah, it's like a sprint for your brain, right?
Exactly. You work on a task for 25 minutes straight with no distractions, and then you take a 5-minute break.
And then you just keep repeating that cycle.
Exactly.
So it's like you're kind of tricking your brain into focusing better.
Well, it's more like working with your brain's natural rhythms. Research shows that we're not designed to focus for hours on end. We need those short breaks to recharge, and the Pomodoro Technique builds those breaks right into the process so you avoid burnout.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially for those long study sessions.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one is interesting. Stoic philosophy for emotional control. I'll admit philosophy isn't usually my go-to source for learning tips,
I hear you.
but I'm always open to new ideas.
Well, Stoicism actually offers some really powerful insights into the mental and emotional side of learning.
So like how to stay calm when you hit those inevitable roadblocks.
Exactly. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, they were all about mental resilience. They believed in focusing on what you can control, your effort, your mindset, your reactions, and accepting what you can't control.
So it's like reframing those setbacks,
Yeah.
seeing them as challenges to overcome rather than reasons to get discouraged.
Exactly. It's a powerful shift in perspective.
I like that.
Okay, moving on to a technique that's all about continuous improvement, immediate feedback, and iteration.
Ooh, this is a good one. Feedback is so crucial, but I'm curious about the immediate part.
The timing is key. The sooner you get feedback, the better.
So it's like course correction if you're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
You want to know as soon as possible so you can adjust your course.
Exactly. You don't want to waste time practicing the wrong way.
And immediate feedback helps you catch those small errors before they turn into bad habits.
Precisely. And it allows you to make those adjustments in real time so you can progress much faster.
So if I'm learning a new skill, I should be actively seeking feedback from a mentor or a coach or even a friend as early in the process as possible.
Exactly. The more you iterate, the faster you learn. And finally, we come to the foundation that underpins all of these techniques, growth mindset.
Okay, this is one I'm really excited about. I've heard so much about the power of mindset, but I'm curious to hear how it specifically relates to learning.
It's huge. A psychologist named Carol Dweck has done a ton of research on this, and she found that people with a growth mindset, the ones who believe that their abilities can be developed, they achieve way more than those with a fixed mindset.
So it's not just about being positive or optimistic. It's about genuinely believing that you can improve even when things are tough.
It's about embracing challenges, seeing effort as the path to mastery, and viewing setbacks as opportunities to learn and grow.
Instead of saying, I'm just not good at this, you say, I'm not good at this yet.
Exactly. It's a small shift in language, but it makes a world of difference.
And the best part is that a growth mindset can be cultivated. It's not something you're born with.
Exactly. Anyone can develop a growth mindset.
That's so encouraging. It's like giving yourself permission to be a beginner, to make mistakes, knowing that you can always learn and improve.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, and I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, but in a good way.
It's a lot to take in.
Like my brain just got a major workout.
But the key takeaway here is that by combining these techniques, you can really accelerate your learning. We're talking about deliberate practice-spaced repetition, the 80-20 rule, active recall, the Feynman Technique, interleaved practice, mindfulness visualizations, contextual learning, the Pomodoro Technique, Stoic philosophy, immediate feedback, and of course, a growth mindset.
It's like we've unlocked all the cheat codes for faster, more effective learning.
And the coolest part is that these techniques can be applied to literally anything you want to learn.
Exactly, whether you're trying to learn a new language or master a musical instrument or even just learn something new for fun. These tools can help you get there faster and with a deeper understanding. So what's the next step for our listeners? What's one action they can take right now to start implementing these techniques?
It is a lot. We covered a lot of powerful stuff, but you don't have to do everything at once.
Yeah, it's like we've been given this amazing toolbox
Yeah.
full of learning power-ups.
Exactly.
But I know it can be a little overwhelming to know where to begin. What's one simple thing our listeners can do today to start experimenting with all this?
I'd say pick one technique that really stood out to you and give it a try. Maybe you're curious about the Feynman technique. Choose a concept you're having trouble with and explain it to an imaginary friend. Or if you're feeling stressed, try a 5-minute mindfulness exercise.
It's all about taking action, right?
Yes.
Not just listening and thinking, oh, that sounds cool, but actually putting it into practice.
Exactly. Knowledge is only powerful when you use it. And remember, learning is a journey. It's not about reaching a final destination. It's about always exploring new knowledge, new skills, new challenges.
I love that it's not about being perfect. It's about enjoying the process, embracing the ups and downs, and always looking for ways to grow.
And with these techniques, you're not just learning, you're learning how to learn better. You're becoming more efficient, more effective, and, dare I say it, a more joyful learner.
I'm feeling inspired, ready to go out there and tackle any learning challenge that comes my way.
That's the spirit. And remember, we're all in this together. The world is full of incredible things to learn. And with the right tools and the right mindset, the possibilities are truly endless.
So go out there and learn like a rocket, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.